Let's go to theory number 1. Uniform Civil Code is the first theory that has done the rounds. And I want to bring in India Today's Pallavi Saha, who's going to stay with me on this show to help me decide likely, unlikely, possible, very impossible. Those are the 4 words that Pallavi is going to use when she gives us her answer. Pallavi, Uniform Civil Code is perhaps one of the first things that came to people's minds as a theory when this special session was called. What are you hearing? Possible, not possible, unlikely? What are you hearing?
Unlikely is the word here, because I've spoken to my sources and those who are in the know of what this special session is about. And remember, Shiv, that there are only very few people right now within the government machinery who are fully aware as to what this special session of Parliament is about. And what they're telling me is that it's unlikely that the Uniform Civil Code bill will be presented before Parliament during this special session, which is to start on the 18th of September. What they're saying is that the 22nd Law Commission has solicited views from across stakeholders and sections of society and the public, and that process is underway. So it's unlikely that the special session is about UCC, Shiv.
Okay, very interesting. So Pallavi says it's unlikely. Now let's go to theory number 2. Theory number 2 is the Women's Reservation Bill. Now, it's been a turbulent year so far, where the government has been put on the map, on a mat on different issues. The terrible things that have happened in Manipur and elsewhere have put the government on the back foot as far as women's safety is concerned. So there, one section believes that the Women's Reservation Bill could be a game changer bill that is brought in during this session of Parliament, and it has been something that has been asked for a very, very long time, and it could, politically speaking, take the wind out of the opposition's sails on the issue of, empowering women. Pallavi, Women's Reservation Bill also doing the rounds. What do you think?
Again, on that as well, unlikely was the word that was used as well with Women's Reservation Bill. Of course, it has picked up a lot of steam after Kavita, MLC from Telangana, and KCR's daughter picked it up as well. She's written to leaders of all political parties and urged them to include this in terms of their demands. Remember, because Sonia Gandhi wrote a charter of 9 demands to the Prime Minister saying these are the issues that should be discussing. Since you've not told us the agenda, here's what we think should be discussed. She did not name Women's Reservation Bill. Kavita wrote to all the political party leaders, including Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, and said that please include Women's Reservation Bill. So there's a lot of chatter around Women's Reservation Bill, but again, very unlikely, because the consensus within the BJP also is lacking as far as the 33% reservation for women is concerned in Parliament.
Okay, I'm very much enjoying this game of elimination that Pallavi and I are playing, because this narrows things down and gives our viewers a really, really nice and focused view before that special session starts. Pallavi, let's move to theory number 3 now. This is something that the government kicked up a real storm about. This was with the use of the word Bharat instead of India, whether it was G20 invitations, whether it was notifications used during the BRICS summit or the ASEAN summit, or during the G20 itself, where Bharat was the Prime Minister's nameplate. The buzz has been that, is India going to change its name to Bharat? Is the government going to move a bill towards that? Pallavi, I personally don't think so. I think the government has just been trying to popularize the use of the word Bharat, and I don't think there's any official bill that is going to be moved as such. Is that what you're hearing as well?
Again, yes, that's exactly what, government sources are telling me as I'm speaking to them, whether that's possible. And they're saying, what sort of constitutional amendment are you speaking about? Because Bharat is there in the Constitution. Article 1 of the Constitution says India, that is Bharat. Could this be a switchover? Bharat, that is India? Again, the government, at least sources that I'm speaking to, doesn't feel the need so. What you've rightly said is that the government feels the need to popularize the usage of Bharat over India. And hence you saw a lot of it being used at the G20 summit, how the Prime Minister's name placard read, and otherwise as well throughout the summit in very little details. Instead of India, we used Bharat. But that is exactly what the government wants to do, give one more precedence over the other. But what they're saying is that we don't require a constitutional amendment for the same because it's already in the constitution. But as we've discussed in the past, this was one of the theories that kind of picked up a lot of more steam than
Yes.
the other, simply because it was on the 18th of September, in the past, when in fact the Constituent Assembly debated the draft constitution and adopted Article 1 of the Constitution, which again had debated a lot of variations for how we're going to refer to India or Bharat in the Article 1. And this is the date, 18th of September 2023, when indeed the new session, I beg your pardon, the special session
Yes.
of Parliament begins.
Okay, very interesting. 3 theories done, 3 to go, Polami. Let's go to theory number 4 now. So the 3 theories we've talked about so far, all unlikely, if not totally, not happening in this special session. Theory number 4 is another big one that dropped out of nowhere, and that's one nation, one poll. Lot of politics, Polami, has happened over one nation, one poll. 3 or 4 days of angry debates have taken place, but no word from the government itself, even though the government in the past has talked about the benefits of one nation, one poll. A panel has been formed to look into this, headed by, former President Ramnath Kovind, Polami. So one wonders whether ONOP could be one of the things on the agenda in this session of Parliament.
Again, categorically denied by sources that I've spoken to. Like you said, a committee has just been formed. Former President Ramnath Kovind is heading that committee. It's an 8-member panel. Of course, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary chose to withdraw from that panel. So currently 7 members. What sources are telling me is that they estimate that this committee could take at least 3 years to come up with its report. It's going to be a long, drawn-out process where they'll speak to a lot of stakeholders. The government itself has said that if at all it has to move forward with this agenda, which it wants to move forward with, it has to seek the political consensus of, state chief ministers, governors, all political parties as well, before they finalize as to how, they're going to make this happen, the modalities of it in terms of state elections, in terms of Lok Sabha elections. So there's a lot that needs to be discussed. At least 5 different articles of the Constitution will have to be amended for this to become possible. You have to think about the resources holding elections with as many VVPAT machines, EVMs across the country at the same time. Huge expenditure in terms of, deployment of security forces, poll officials. Again, all of these nitty-gritties need to be discussed. So it's going to be a while before this committee indeed comes up with a report, Shiv.
Okay, so two theories are unlikely. 2 theories are categorically not happening. And you've got theory number 5, which we're coming to right now, which is also a very interesting one, Polami, which hasn't been, discussed or debated before. But this is something that our political bureau has been picking up over the last few days. And that pertains to the possibility of a quota announcement, an OBC quota announcement. Polami, this would be big if it happened, because we're just months away from a large cycle of elections where something like this would be, would have a huge impact as well. The many things, politically speaking, that have been happening over the last few weeks and months, leading into the Karnataka elections and thereafter, have led one to believe that some big announcement concerning OBCs, possibly even a quota, is one of the theories.
Well, for this particular theory, Shiv, I've not got a categorical no. But, the fact is, Justice Rohini Commission just submitted that report on the 1st of August to the President, after which, of course, it has reached the Ministry of Social Justice, and they are going to review what the committee report actually states. Again, it's a very tedious process over years of work put together, after which the Commission actually came up with this report. You're talking about subcategorization of OBCs in order to ensure, that there is the right kind of, benefits that are meted out, and of course, in terms of government schemes as well. So the government will take some amount of time to study this report before indeed it brings this into some sort of a fruition stage. That is going to take some time. But again, I've not received a categorical no for this at the moment, Shiv.